right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Success Zone. All right. We'll just hold down the fort. I don't care. Let's see here. What do we got? So then we go to screen here. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So as people know, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do Success Zone. And hope everybody had a great weekend. Let me put my screen on here. Where am I? There I am. Okay. So today, what I want to talk about is, there's different trainings that we do, obviously, on Success Zone, and they're all meant to help us take the journey. And one of the biggest things that a lot of people will struggle with is understanding what people are saying to you. And, you got to realize most people can't say no. Okay. And when you know that and you realize that, then you have to understand what people are really, really, really saying. And this training, listening through objections, really helped me understand that not everybody does what they say they're going to do. That's for sure. And our job is to just go out there and really talk to people. So listening through objections is a key skill set you must have as you go out there and build your business. So the first thing is this. When you hear the word objection, as an example, objection, okay, I like to replace that word with concern. Okay, now, I think people object a lot of times to themselves. That's what they're objecting to. They're not objecting to you or your opportunity. They're objecting to themselves because they have this thing within them that maybe says they're not worthy, or maybe they've been told their whole life, right? Be glad you have a job. Be glad you're earning what you're earning. Thank God you have at least a house to live in or a car to drive. And they don't start to think outside of that little box they have created. And I get it. I understand why people do what they do. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But I want you to when you start taking things personally, is when you start to question your own beliefs. When you start to question, right, whether or not you're doing the right thing. So I want you to turn it. The objection is not to you. The objection or concern that people have is to themselves. And now you just got to walk them through it. Because weren't you that same person that maybe questioned, can you do it? Maybe you're still in that place because you haven't gotten the results you want to get. And remember how I always talk about how that fear and doubt is always there? Okay, of course, we know it's going to be there. So you got to believe first and foremost in your decision. Now remember, the person you're talking to has yet to make a decision. So it's easy to come up with objections versus making a decision to change. People will always take the path of least resistance. Let me give you an example. We all believe we should work out, right? I don't think anybody here questions whether or not exercise is good for you. Is it easier to work out or not work out? What do most people do? Not work out. Is it easier to save money or spend money? It's much easier to spend money, but what do most people do? Spend money. But what should we do? We should save money. So when you start to think of why people make the decisions they make, now you understand they're always going to take the path of least resistance. Now here you come, right? And you're offering people an opportunity that could change their life financially, right? You all know the slide, but this is what we're offering. Let me ask you all a question. What would they object to? What part of this would they object to if it was just given to them? No, I'm good. I don't want that immediate income. No, I'm good. I don't want residual income. No, I don't want an opportunity to be paid what I'm worth. No, I don't want to be around a group of motivated people. And no, I don't want those tax advantages, and I don't want to own my own business and call my own shots. What are they objecting to? They're not objecting to this. You got to understand that. They're not objecting. They're objecting to what they would have to do, and people question themselves. That's it. So now what do we have to do? We got to make it simple. We got to make it where people say, I can do that. Right? So how do you do that? Well, you start by, as I've trained many times, telling your story, understanding the way they feel. Because don't you understand why people won't make a change? You should. You were one of those people. I was. Why did I make it so hard on Lisa? Why? Because I didn't want more income? No, because I saw change. And I was in this comfort zone, and I didn't want to break out of it. But when I started to get around the energy of the people, and I started to really believe that I could do more of what I knew, that's when I started to open up. Well, see, some of the people you have in your funnel, okay, they're going through a process. Maybe they haven't opened up yet, right? And you're trying to force them to open up. You can't. You can't force people to do it. But what you can do is you can listen through their concerns. And when you listen through their concerns, what I want to try to get you to do is take you away from trying to overcome their objections versus listening through the objection. No one wants to be told they're wrong. No one wants to be told that they're stuck, right? There's times and places for those types of conversations, right? Depending on the relationship you have with the person, right? But it doesn't make a difference. I think people want to be heard first. And when you listen through the objection, it becomes less powerful, not only to you, but also to them. When you really intently listen. So if you have a traditional sales mentality, okay, you're taught to overcome objections. I don't know if any of you on this call have ever been in traditional sales. Obviously, that's where I came from. I was told and I was shown that if someone says this, you say that. And you're trying to prove what they're saying is wrong because you had one shot to get somebody to make a decision. They walked into that health club that day for a reason, right? What's the saying when it comes to cars? No one walks on the lot unless they're there to buy, right? They're not there just to hang out. Well, that was the mentality in the health clubs. Why did they walk in that day? Well, obviously, they created this interest that they needed to do what? Lose weight. My job was to get them never to leave that door or walk out that door without buying a membership. So it was a different mentality. I was trying to deflect the objection. I was trying to turn the objection back on the person. I want to prove that what they were saying, okay, had no reason or logic. I have no time. Well, how can you say you have no time? Let's go through it. I have no money. What do you mean? You don't have $1 a day for your health? I could come back with all the, I got to ask my wife. Wait a minute. Let's get this straight, Larry. You're telling me that you have to go home and ask your wife if you could get in shape? Did I hear that right, Larry? And I would try to make Larry feel this big by giving me that stupid objection. That's how I was trained. Okay, because doesn't it make sense? See, I knew what they were saying had no bearing on really what the real issue was. You know what the real issue was? They knew losing 50 pounds was going to take work. They knew it was going to take a commitment. So I wanted to make sure, okay, that that person never left. That's traditional. I had to learn how to listen through the objection. I had to learn how to, we say, champion the objection. You know how we champion the objection? I understand what you're saying. I understand you got to ask your wife. I understand you have no time. But then I would also then come back with, let me share with you, okay, how because I had those same concerns. Because remember what I said? I understand the way you feel. And then I would just tell them the way I felt and I understood it. And then I let them just talk. And when that happened, I found out that objection never came back at me again. I want to help people actively express their concern. Remember, their concern isn't they don't want the results from what we can get. You got to listen through to see what the concern really is. And when you do this, you know what you're also finding out, everybody? Do you even want this person? See, we think because we're in this thing called multi-level marketing that anybody with a pulse we need to take. No, let me just ask you a question. Okay, the person you're dealing with, if you had a $1 million, a $1 billion company, would you hire that person? If you had a position that you were going to pay X amount of money for, would you just hire anybody that could walk? No, you would interview them. That's what listening through objection is doing. Do you understand that? You're interviewing. You're finding out what this person is really made of. Now, I'm not saying you're still not going to sponsor them, because we all know that one person can lead you to somebody else, even if that person's not the one. I just want to get you to a point where you start to take on the posture that you got what they want. That's what I want you to know. You have what everybody wants. And I keep showing you that glow because you got to buy into that. So what happens is this, okay? There's two things, like overcoming and listening through. Well, here's the things that you have to get good at: your attitude, your words, and your body language. Attitude, okay? There's defensive. You could be defensive. Argumentative. Your words could be argumentative. My words were very argumentative when I was with the health clubs. And my body language was what? I was excited. I was tense. I was intense. Okay? Now, does that work? Well, it depends on the environment. Over there, if I sold a membership, I could care less if I ever saw them again. That's the truth. All I knew is I got my commission, right? And I just made sure, okay, that they left there by giving me their credit card. That's all I cared about. But see, over here, it's not just about recruitment. I'm trying to sponsor because I want to link arms with that person. This is a daily communication with this person if we're going to build a business together. So my attitude is what? Easygoing. I don't have to be defensive. My words are very agreeing with what the person is saying. I'm nodding, I'm understanding. And my body language is relaxed. Why would I be tense if I knew I had something they want? See, no one wanted a health club membership. No one wanted to come to a club and go through pain. No one wanted that. I had to get them to see the end result of what would happen if they came in for 5 days a week, for 90 days. I had to get them to see that. See, over here, the only pain is making a decision. There's no pain until they start talking to people. That's where the pain comes in, right? Now, Here is the common things you're going to always have to deal with. There's only 5 or 6 things you'll always have to deal with. No time, no money, I can't sell, I'm uncomfortable with multi-level marketing, I have to ask my wife. At the end of the day, these are the things you're probably going to always hear. Now, if you have a supplement, you may hear, right, I need to know what's in it. I need to know about the ingredients, right? Or how does it work? You might hear some of those things. But really, at the end of the day, these are, you may call them concerns, but you know what they are? They're roadblocks. And the best way to overcome a roadblock is to understand that they have no time, understand that they probably don't think they have the money. But let me ask you a question. If someone really wants something, would these ever even come out of their mouth? These questions? Lisa never said, I have to ask my husband. I kind of wonder why she never did, but she never says, I have to ask my husband. Okay, you know why? Because she was sold on her decision. So when somebody really wants what you're offering, now here's what you got to get good at. You got to get good at, I'm going to put it back up here, showing people and getting people to see what it would mean to have these things. You got to get good. You got to practice this. Practice talking to yourself and convincing yourself of all the benefits of owning your own business. You should practice this. Getting people to see what it would mean to have an extra $500 a month coming in, $1,000 a month coming in, $1,500, whatever it is. Get you, sell yourself on this. I mean, 5 $100 bills. What would that mean? I mean, is this not a good visual? Okay, let me show you. Watch. I think I got 500. 4, 5. Okay. Would this be a good visual? Right? What would this mean for you every month? How many commercials do you see like this? Why? It's a visual. It's a visual. Now, I'm not saying you're going to go out there and pull out 5 $100 bills, but you got to get people to see that. What would it mean for them? Getting them to really, really, rightly start to think about their current situation. Larry, let me ask you a question. You've been doing what you're doing for, I don't know, how long, Larry? 20 years? Oh my gosh. I mean, is there any upward movement in your company? I know for me, Larry, now remember, I'm not saying for him. For me, I hit a glass ceiling. I felt stuck. I'm trying to repeat what I know he's thinking, but he won't say it. See, Larry's not going to tell me, listen, I hit a glass ceiling, I'm stuck. If he did say that, he's given me the answer to the test. But if he doesn't, I'm trying to listen through what he's really trying to say, so I say it for him. If I get Larry nodding, yeah, Jeff, yeah, it is frustrating. But you know what? Larry got so frustrating for me. Every day I went there, you know what? I didn't have a good attitude. And I would love to have fired my boss. But you know what? I have to do what I have to do because I got a family to feed. How many people think that way? So I have to get Larry to see this. I got to get Larry to see residual income. What does it mean? Well, how do I get him to think about that? Larry, let me ask you a question. And guys, this was a question asked to me 25 years ago, and it just was so eye-opening and was very direct. Jeff, if you lost your current situation, the one that you said you love, that you've been working at for 14 years, 12 to 14-hour days, because that's what you just told me. If you lost that current situation tomorrow, how long could you keep your same standard of living? Now, that was eye-opening for me, because you know what the answer was? 3 months. We had $45,000 saved. My overhead a month was 15 grand. Right? 3 months from being a street person. He said, you need to start thinking about your retirement. You need to think about residual income. So he got me to see it. And then made me very comfortable by leading me into the system. That's what you got to do. You got to show them what they have, what we're offering, and then show them the system they would be part of. Now, how do you do that? Well, let me show you step one of our system. Okay, I want to take you to first base, Alicia. Watch this video. And everything I'm going to show you is exactly what I'm going to want you to do. So now they're thinking, wow, she just showed me a video. You have more questions? I want to get you on this webinar. It's 30 minutes long. It could be live. I'm going to send it to you, or if you want to see a recording one, okay? And then if you have more questions, I'm going to do a call with you and get your questions answered. Wow, I can do that. Meantime, there's this thing called Success Zone for training. Now they start to see, wow. And they start, so this may take, who knows, it may take 24 hours. It could take 72 hours. It could take 1 exposure, 5 exposures, but you're leading people to what they would have to do. Do you understand why it's so crucial to keep this thing simple? If you have 10 steps to success on 5 different steps, you know what people are going to say? I can't do that. That's a lot of work. No. I just want you to be able to do these things. I can do that. And you know what they're thinking now? If I do that, remember those 5 $100 bills? Or that $1,000? That's what Lisa saw, $1,000 a month. She didn't see wealth. She didn't see $1 million. She saw $1,000 a month. Well, let me ask you a question. When she started following the system and she made $1,500 in her first month, do you think she continue to see 1,000? No. See, her vision expanded. So if I just did that with more people, she did that with 1 person, made $1,500. Well, if I did it with 2 people, I can make $3,000. If I just did the same thing with that 1 person with a second person, I can make another $1,500. Then all of a sudden her vision expanded. See, people don't know this. We know it, but they don't. You know what they know? They work an hour, they get paid. They make a sale, they get paid once. That's all they know. They don't know about having, people helping them make money helps them make money. By doing what? Showing them how to send a video, watch a webinar, and get around a group of motivated people. Our job is to lead people to this information. That's it. Okay? And when you do that, this is how you start to have the attitude of easygoing. Why would you be tense about leading people to information? Now you know what it is to walk people through. Listen, I understand the way you feel, and I've shared with you what you can have here. Let me ask you a question. Are you willing to watch a 3-minute video? I hear you about all your concerns, but I want to share with you, what we do and how we do it. And this is how you get people, you know what? Let me see what's going on here. So just know what your approach is. Okay, real simple. You guys have seen this training, okay? But when you go out there, you will lose 9 out of 10 times if you're always talking. I call it speechless babbling. And a lot of people just think, oh my gosh, I got to tell you every ingredient. I got to tell you about the technology. I got to show you how the product works. Let me tell you about the comp plan. Let me tell you how many levels deep we pay and about our infinity bonus. No, and the car bonus. No one cares. We think they do, But this is not the time to recite everything about your company. You let the videos do that. If you're defensive and argumentative or strong and overpowering, you will lose 9 out of 10 times. But when you just relax, confident, and easygoing, because you know you have what they want, right? Now remember, it just betters your chances. Doesn't mean, if you have a negative person, guys, you have a negative person. If you have someone who's just going to hold on to those objections, they're going to hold on to those objections regardless of who talks to them. This is going to sound crass, but sometimes you can't fix stupid. You can't fix somebody who's just not open. You're trying to break them down a little bit to be open enough. I use the door, you know how you crack a door? Some people just give you this little crack. And then the more you start to listen, they crack open a little bit more. And pretty soon they're wide open to your information. But some people are just closed and locked and bolted. What I want you to be able to do is identify those people quickly and move on. Don't let them say, damn it, I'm calling the SWAT team and we're going to use the bulldozer. Damn it, I'm opening that door. No, you're not. And even if you do open the door, and let's say you sponsored the person, I promise you the door closes again anyway. So sometimes we spend all of our time with people that just aren't open. This training is just showing you how to crack the door. It's a process. And the number one rule you have to all embrace is, the truth is, number one, you never buy the objection. Can I go back again? Okay, watch. Here's the objections. Okay. If someone really saw making the kind of money they want to make, do you think these would ever be an objection? No. Okay, so now knowing that, this is why I'm saying, number one, don't buy the objection. But you don't say it to the person. You don't say, listen, I'm not buying that. Because the truth is, whatever they're saying, it's not true. The door's closed. I don't buy into what they're saying. If you believe them, you've already lost the battle. But when you listen through the objection, just like I'm showing you how to do, not only is the objection not true for you, it's not true for them either. I understand the way you feel, Alicia. I get it. I hear you. See, those things are inviting. Wow, Alicia's going, wow, he hears me. Well, let me tell you why I hear you, Alicia. I was just like you. I said the same thing. You know what I was really saying? I didn't understand what the person was offering. But once I went through the journey, very simple thing of watching a few videos and a webinar, I understood what they were offering me. See, now I'm not someone to defend against. But if I said, Alicia, I'm not buying that objection. Bull, you know what, Alicia? You got the time. I know your husband. If you made money, okay, trust me, he'd come running. Okay, I could overcome all those things aggressively. But I'm telling you, the best way is to listen through. Takes more time. But remember, I'm just trying to get the door cracked. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a video into their hands. I'm trying to get a product in their hands. If you have a product that you're sampling. That's all I'm trying to do. And every step of the way, I'm trying to represent myself as something they would have to do if they said yes. See, that's the other thing. If you become this product expert and you become a compensation plan expert and you can become a telehealth expert or a technology expert, you know what people are going to perceive? I have to do what she does. You know, automatically people say, I can't do that. But if you make it very simple, You got to remember, they're gonna go home. Even though they may say one thing to you, they're gonna go home and just remember how they were brought in. Lisa will never forget how she was brought in. Never. Walking to a park with a neighbor, and the neighbor said, "You need to talk to my friends, Dan and Susan Mays." She remembers that. And then when Dan and Susan Mays called her, here's all she remembers. They came over, they were nice, they sampled her the product. You know what she started to think? I can do that. And then Dan and Susan said to Lisa, "You're going to love the product. I'm going to show you how to buy it wholesale." And guess what? Lisa bought it wholesale. And by the way, Lisa, there's an opportunity. And there's this meeting on Tuesday night. I'd love you to come out, right? Get away from the kids. I promise you one thing. There's a great group of people there. You're going to love them, all the same age as you. A lot of them have kids. And afterwards, we're going to go out and have a glass of wine. So Lisa goes, "Oh, I'm going to go to that." It wasn't like so intense. And then she went, she liked the people, right? Went out and goes, I like this. I can do that. In what you represent for your company, are people saying, "I can do that"? Well, you're the representative of what your company is. You got to make it simple. This is where you don't buy into the objection, guys. You just got to make it where they want to go through and take the journey. This is where you start to really get good. Rule number 2, listen to what isn't being said. See, when you talk to your warm market, you know what the truth is. You know their situation, right? That's why we say start with your warm market. But if you're talking to cold market or someone you just met on LinkedIn or you had a glass of wine with, what is the truth? What do you hear? Normally, when you listen and you ask the right questions, right, you hear frustration, anger, disappointment, and fear. And just remember, when you don't attack an objection head on, you're not someone to defend against. I said that earlier. But if I keep hitting them every time they give me a concern, they're going to hold their ground. Right? No one wants to be proven false. So a lot of times, in most cases, you hear the frustration. Now, I know I keep saying this, but how do you handle the frustration? I understand where you are. I understand where you've been. I get it. And let me tell you why. I didn't know anything like this existed. All I knew is all I knew. So you got to listen to, you know what I mean, everybody, when I say listen to what isn't being said? I'm always listening. We went to a dinner with somebody in Vegas on Saturday night. And I barely said 2 words. Lisa didn't talk at all. This person just kept talking and talking and talking. You know what, Lisa and I won't tell you the gory details, but afterwards, when we got into the car, Lisa said, man, that person was full of frustration and disappointment and fear. And you could just hear through what she was saying. Okay, it was just amazing. Okay, but that's just people. You got to understand that. But see, some people aren't going to say, "Listen, I'm fearful of getting involved in something new." So what's the solution? After you listen, what's left? Most of the time, if you listen completely through the objection, there's nothing left. You let it run dry. If there is still a concern, it's not an emotionally charged issue anymore. I can deal with it. I can deal. And just remember, there's also something called overcoming the concern before they come up. This is where you're all going to get really good at telling your story. Okay, here's something you could all do. Okay, but you could practice this. If you knew these were the objections that were going to come up 9 out of 10 times with everybody you talk to, one of them, or not, if not all of them, how would you overcome those concerns through your story? So when that person starts to bring them up, right, they're going to think twice because you overcame it through your story. Does that make sense? If you knew no time was going to come up, no money. Okay, can I give you an example of it? After I listen to Alicia or anybody on this call, okay, and I'm listening to where she's at, right, and I'm understanding her. You know what, Alicia, I get it. I understand the way you feel. You know, one of the biggest things that came up with me, you know, was, you know, I'm working 14 hours. I didn't think I had the time. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, if they're talking about money out, I didn't have any money. And I certainly am not someone that likes to sell. And then this industry and the industry of multi-level made me very uncomfortable. And at the end of the day, you know what? I still have to ask Lisa. See, I could tell my story. Now, if it didn't apply to that person, I would pick whatever's on this, and I would make sure that person understood I was just like them. That's key. So now the person is listening. Alicia's going, wow, he's just like me. But here's what I found. At the end of the day, Alicia, you know what I really found? I was closed because of my fear. Now, I'm not saying she's closed and she has fear, but I say it through me. But I'm talking to her. Does that make sense? That's what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, I was fearful. And I was fearful because I was stuck. Now I'm coming clean. Now I'm telling my story. Now I'm building rapport. Now I'm building trust. Because I'm not just saying, well, I got involved. I decided to make a change. And I knew if I kept doing what I was doing, I would keep getting the same results. And I knew in order for things to change, I had to change. So I did. Who relates to that? Nobody. But if I start to say, man, I was just as fearful as you. Oh my gosh, this is how I overcame it. I was full of fear and doubt. But when I start to get around the information and the people, it gave me comfort. Now, remember, these are just tips. Doesn't mean Alicia's going to go, me too, but it betters my chances. It's much easier to do it that way. Okay? So when I go through all this, right, listen to what is being said, the solution, what's left, now you know. Embrace the objection. Love it. Make it exciting. Okay, I always love it because usually whatever they say, I went through the same thing. That's how I love it and make it exciting. I'm not dreading the objection. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's coming in some form. Why would we be shocked? So don't just merely be receptive to it. Okay, expect it. That's what I love. I expect the objection. Actively help the emotion to be expressed fully. Well, I just told you. Well, tell me more about that, Alicia. What do you mean? Well, let her talk. If you come from, I don't want to hear about this, you'll be thrown into being argumentative. I don't want to ever be argumentative. I want to really hear. And when you do, man, then you understand why most people are stuck. They're stuck because, first of all, they don't believe there's other opportunities out there. Or I shouldn't say that. I think they know there's opportunities, but do they want to take the time, effort, and energy to pursue it? End of the day, I think most people are just lazy. At the end of the day, right? But as you take this journey and you talk to tons of people, you're going to find out The right people just do. The right people just do. At the end of the day, you don't spend much time. But just remember, have the attitude that you're hiring for your company, because you are. See, we think, well, just because the person says yes, you want them. Now, once again, understand, I'm going to sponsor everybody who wants to be sponsored. But I also have to know, like I've trained many times, what I caught. So this interviewing process allows me to understand. Define the objection. Ask the questions. Sometimes I get very specific. Give them an opportunity to be specific about what they do or do not care for. Well, what is it about your situation? I mean, I'm just asking. You've been doing it for so many years. What is it you're frustrated with? See, no one has these conversations. That's the other thing. Regardless of the outcome, I want you to be memorable. Because when something does change, or maybe something goes on in their life, I want them to remember you. And this is where you start to really build this rapport. Always take their side and have your questions agree with them. I showed you how to do that. And make sure you and your prospect are speaking the same language. Don't confront them. There's no need to confront them. There's no need to put them against the wall. Now, I will say this. The people I knew, I would go right at them. Now, I know I'm contradicting myself now, but I'm just telling you different ways. Okay, somebody I have a really good relationship with, my best friend, my family, I would go right at them. I didn't say I understand the way you feel. Okay, I already have I don't want to understand. Listen, here's what I'm doing. Here's how we're doing it. I want you to be at least open enough to look. That's how I talk to people that I really, 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 really knew. And you need to be on this call. Lisa and I are starting the biggest project of our life. Okay, I'll get on. I didn't go through all this. I already knew. I'm talking about as you get through past your warm market and you're out there talking to people. That's what I'm talking about here. So once you get past, really, at the end of the day, you probably got 5 to 10 people you can talk to the way I just said. Maybe 5 to 10. Where you could be very direct. Everybody else, I got to listen, I got to understand. And that's how you better your chances to get people to know what you have. So champion the objection, help them tell their feelings, encourage them to come up with more about the objection, empower it. Step over the line between the two of you and take their side. Run the well dry. Let them. You watch what people sometimes do. You'll see the emotion. I've had people where I've done this and they start to cry. Okay? Tears come down their face. Because you're getting them to look at what they're spending their time with. You're getting them to look at their life. And most people just go through the motions. You all know this. They don't stop and look unless something drastic happens. That's the only time people look. Right? Give me an example. When did my dad start exercising? After triple bypass surgery. Follow me? Up until then, he smoked like a fiend. He ate everything wrong. But once life shook him, okay, I got to start to exercise. When did my mom stop smoking? After emphysema. When do most people look at an opportunity? When their situation is good or bad? Bad. When should they look? When it's good. So this is what you have to understand about people. They'll just go through the motions until all of a sudden you're fired. Oh no, I got to do something. Where's that Alicia girl? But see, no one does that. Just By chance. Something usually drastic has to happen. Well, you know what? You're the one that's opening their eyes. You're the one, okay? Let me go back. All that other stuff is stuff, okay? I'm just going to close with this again. How do I open their eyes? Okay, this is how I open their eyes. Yes, great. I'm glad your situation is good. I'm glad. But you know what I've learned? Okay, most people have a plan B. You could say that now. 25 years ago, people still was under this illusion that they're going to be with the same company for 40 years and retiring with the gold watch and the pension. People today know that's no longer. So you could talk to people about, you know what? Okay, I needed a plan B. And that plan B was not going to be another job. My plan B was going to own my own business. And I didn't think I had enough time, but I could start this spare time part-time. And one of the things that really attracted me, because I was getting killed with taxes, I would have different tax advantages. I had 4 to 6 hours a week to give this. So you know what? I want to make an extra $1,500 a month. You know what that was going to do? That was going to cover my car payment, right? And my child's tuition. That's what that was going to cover. And I need this plan B because I hit a glass ceiling. And I was going to start to build something I've never thought about building because I always traded time for dollars. And that was residual income. I'm at such an age now, I have 20 more years. I got to build a residual income. And when the icing was on the cake was the group of people that were also involved that were building their plan B. And I met a lot of people where the plan B took over their plan A and they went full time. See, I got to get them to see that. Didn't I just overcome every objection? And what did I do? I just went around the globe. That's all I did. And now, listen, I want you to at least take the first step and watch this video. I know you have objections. I get it. I understood it. I'm just like you. But I want to send you this. If I sent you this, Alicia, would you watch it? See, now I've given her. And if she doesn't accept the opportunity then, or at least watch the video, next, I'm done. I gave it the best shot. And all you can do, what's the 4 agreements? Always do your best. It's all you can do. And it's up to them to accept it. And then when they accept it, you tell people what to do and you work with the ones that do it, period. And now your journey's, now, as I close this out, now you can be easygoing and relaxed. Because if someone says no, what's my attitude, everybody? You should know it by now. I didn't want them anyway. That's my attitude. Because they're not going to steal my dream. They're not going to steal. They're not my opportunity. It's amazing how many people, every time you talk to somebody, you believe they're your opportunity. They're going to be so good. They know everybody. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody I talk to knows everybody. And they're going to be so good. But yet, Jeff, they're this, they're that, they're this, they're that. Let me ask you a question. Would you hire them? No, I would never hire them. Then why am I meeting with them? Is this guy's making sense? Okay, go with your gut. But run the well dry, give it your best shot, and then ask people the question. Are you willing to at least look? Pretty direct question, isn't it? What am I going to say? No? What are you asking them to do? Go to first base. Are you willing to watch a 3-minute video? It changed my situation. This one video got me open. Sure, I'll watch it. Good, when? And that's a whole nother training. All right, guys, appreciate you. See you on Wednesday, okay? Talk to you soon.